What's up guys, Mickle here, and in this video, we're going to talk about ISO20022 and whether or not it is going to have any impact on digital assets. There is so much back and forth on Twitter whether or not this new standard means anything for the cryptocurrencies you and I own. In this video, we're going to cover that as well as why Ripple never just registered XRP with the SEC. There is a ton of people saying right now that Ripple could have avoided all this legal trouble by simply registering XRP with the SEC. In this video, we're going to talk about that and do an XRP price analysis at the very end. We are currently waiting for XRP to make a massive move. We're going to talk about when XRP could potentially break out, so make sure to stick around for that. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. If you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below and turn on bell notifications. These three simple things are going to go such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange, Uphold, down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you enjoy the content. So I want to start out this video and talk about ISO20022, and I'm sure I'm going to mess that up a couple times in this video, so just get ready for that. But this is a topic that is actually pretty controversial because a lot of people say this standard does not matter at all. It's going to have no impact on cryptocurrencies. And some people act like it's the most important thing we're going to see over the next 5 years. So I just want to talk about what I expect, what I'm paying attention to, because I think there's some truth to both sides. So essentially, for those of you guys who don't know, the whole idea behind something like ISO 20022 is the fact that when you have banks all over the world in all different countries sending money to one another, you need standards to make sure that they can all interoperate with one another. ISO 2022 is essentially an upgrade to the system for how banks transact value. Now, what we know is typically regulations move a lot slower than technology, and because of that, in our current system, we have some pretty outdated standards, and what this is providing an update so that we can incorporate some new technologies that wouldn't fit some of these older standards. Now, there are going to be a lot of different technologies to make this new standard work, but a lot of people seem to be back and forth on whether or not cryptocurrencies are going to be a part of it. Some people are saying cryptocurrencies are going to be the base layer to this entire thing, and some people are saying cryptocurrencies won't even be used. Well, I want to start off and just show you that this standard is being put into place right now. What we can see from this migration timeline is that the migration is going to start March 20th, 2023 and go all the way until November 2025. So this doesn't really mean anything for us until we understand what this is going to allow into the system. I think it's safe to say right now we understand that right now cryptocurrencies are not part of the standard. Cryptocurrencies are essentially completely outside the traditional regulated system, so it's safe to say that the current standard doesn't include cryptocurrencies. So it really can't get worse from where we already are, but I think the main question people want to know is, will this new standard include cryptocurrencies? Now, if we take a look at an ECB document, which is the European Central Bank, we can see they actually have an outline of what ISO 20022 is going to include, and right at the bottom, it says digital currencies and crypto assets. Now, this is very interesting because this makes it seem like the new ISO 20022 standard is going to open the path for cryptocurrencies to play a larger part in our financial system. Something else we know is that Ripple has been a very close partner to the ECB for a very long time, making it seem like a cryptocurrency like XRP could be one of the technologies that is incorporated into one of these new systems. So is ISO 20022 solely about cryptocurrencies and digital assets? No, of course not. It's about creating a new standard for a next generation financial system. But what is so important to understand here, and this is critical, is that digital currencies and crypto assets are being allowed into that system. This is massive validation, and it shows that these regulators, these people in charge, these massive central banks know what's coming and know that cryptocurrency technology is going to be critical in being part of the next generation future financial system. This is a great sign that we are on the right path. And it's a great sign in showing that a lot of the FUD we see about these assets being banned, a lot of the FUD about these assets not actually being that important is completely untrue. If any of that was true, they would not be considered in these types of documentation because these central banks are not writing stuff like this for fun. They're not writing stuff like this for speculation. They are writing these policies because they know what's coming. They know how this next generation financial system will be built, and this would not be in here if digital currencies were not part of it. So now I want to move on and talk about a pretty controversial topic in the XRP community right now, and that is why didn't Ripple just register XRP with the SEC from the start? Now, this is a question actually posed by JB the Great. He was tweeting out essentially some company that allegedly registered their cryptocurrency with the SEC, and he was asking the question, why didn't Ripple just do this with XRP? Now, honestly, I think this is a pretty interesting question because in an ideal world, it would be easy to register XRP with the SEC. If there was a way Ripple could just walk in and say, okay, we want to register this sale, and this sale with the SEC, XRP itself, obviously that can't be a security, but we'll register these sales, that would make sense. And I would say, why didn't Ripple just do that? There is an easy way to get that done. It seems like Ripple could have saved themselves a pretty big headache with just taking the easy steps of saying, okay, we'll register this sale with the SEC. But what we found out directly from the Ripple SEC case, and I say this all the time, but one of the few things I really do enjoy about this ongoing case is getting to see documents like this. But one thing we learned from this case is that up until the day of this case, Ripple was not told once that their offerings of XRP could constitute a securities transaction. The SEC was meeting with Ripple for years, and not once did they feel the need to say, oh, by the way, we think you selling XRP could be a security. If Ripple was never told by the SEC that them selling a commodity could be a securities transaction, why would they register with the SEC? Coinbase, the biggest exchange in the United States, was meeting with the SEC, and the SEC didn't tell them not to list XRP. The fact of the matter is, all the evidence pointed to the fact that XRP wasn't a security. The SEC was taking actions that made people think, okay, well, it's very likely because of the things they said about Ethereum, because of the things they said about Bitcoin, they were making everyone think, okay, these cryptocurrencies likely aren't securities. This lawsuit was dropped out of nowhere and made absolutely no sense. Why would Ripple go to the SEC and say, oh, we would like to register XRP if everything they were seeing made it seem like they didn't have to? This is one of the most confusing things about this entire case. It doesn't make any sense what the SEC is alleging. The SEC is alleging that the token itself is a security, and that's fundamentally not how securities laws work. We know it's transactional based. They have to allege a specific transaction made by Ripple was a securities transaction, and the SEC doesn't even bother to do that in this case. The SEC tries to allege that the token itself is the security, which is extremely overbroad and simply not how securities law works. One of the most interesting things I find about this entire case is the fact that the SEC likely could have dinged Ripple for a couple transactions. We know that Ripple made sales to Greg Kidd which involved options contracts on XRP, and this seems like the perfect sale for the SEC to highlight and say, hey, look, right here, this was a securities transaction. But the funniest thing about their case is they don't even allege transactions like that were securities. The SEC is going for the outrageous claim that only the token itself is a security and they will accept nothing less, and I think that just shows who we're dealing with. You can't register your token with the SEC. They make it absolutely impossible by taking a fundamentally illogical way of looking at what a security is. It's all really important to understand that if there was an easy way for Ripple to avoid an $100 million fight with the SEC, I'm sure they would have. The SEC is trying to put the brakes on innovation because they want the legacy players to catch back up, and ultimately this lawsuit was all a stall tactic. Now, I think it's going to backfire on the SEC big time because I think ultimately the SEC is going to end up giving XRP the clarity it needs to dominate the future financial system. Either way, though, I think this is a pretty interesting topic and just shows you how all over the place the SEC really is. I wanted to finish this video off and show you this XRP price chart because I talk about these symmetrical triangles on the XRP price a lot and how it typically leads to explosive moments of volatility, and I think this is a great example of this. As we can see, every single time XRP created one of these massive symmetrical triangles, and essentially all that's happening there is the highs keep getting lower and the lows keep getting higher. Every single time XRP forms one of these formations, the price ultimately rips. Now, essentially, the main reason that happens is just because there is a massive fight between the bulls and the bears, and eventually one side breaks and a massive amount of volume flows into the asset and catapults the price. Well, what we can see is we are in a similar formation right now, and we are butting right up against this top resistance. This top resistance right here has been in play for almost 2 years now, so when we break up above it, the price is going to go parabolic. Now, in order for us to do that, and we have failed to do that multiple times now, we really need to push up to about the 45 cent to 50 cent mark to confirm a breakout here and hold it. But the good news is we really don't have much longer in this triangle to go, and eventually we are going to see a move. Hopefully that move happens and we're on this resistance rather than this support. Ultimately, though, I think we could have a positive catalyst in the Ripple SEC case ending, so let's hope it times up like that. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It means so much. And for now, Mickle out.